Tonight's show, we're going to be debunking psychic skeptics, and I'm answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like something in your end table that you this too.
Oh my god, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside... Are you or your loved ones suffering from CRDR like this? Even though I have absolutely no game plan, I'm going to be a multi-million...
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name.
We're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Some of that eclipse energy lingering, screwing up my intro there. Happy Thursday Night Live, everybody. Welcome to the Cruisyverse. How are you feeling since the eclipse in Pisces? I know it's been very different for a lot of people. Some people feeling off balance. Some people feel drained. Some people feel tired. I, for one, have been having like bursts of creativity. Also really kind of out of this world thoughts and thinkings. And so we'll kind of get into that, see what the collective read is for this, this Thursday, actually. And so let's see who's in the chat here. We have Jennifer Cruz, my maker. Hello. We got PBO and Cutter. Hello. Our wonderful mod Nita is in the room. She will assist you. And if you want to get a reading done in today, it's $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions, and $40 for a live video with me one-on-one here. So get them in. The Venmo and PayPal links are in the description below. Michelle Louise. Yeah, still tired. Definitely choosing a new timeline. Well, I think the time has already been chosen, and so we're just kind of realigning with the new timeline. So I believe that, you know, a lot of things are set in our purpose, and so yes, you might be hopping on to that new exciting timeline. Daryl Blankenship, good to see you. Welcome aboard. You're early. That's good. Sophie, hello. Good to see you. Gabriella Tinkoff, Iggy, can't you see? That's right. How much change have you really made? Exactly. That's a line from the my video I just posted, Soul Evolution. AC, hello, good to see you. Tommy Garasi, good to see you. A lot of people are tired, so whoever's watching in the room too, welcome. I can't see you unless you are chatting in the room. And so, and those who don't know, I will do a collective read and see what's going on for the energy of the week and moving forward on the week. And then we will start with the topic. Today's topic is debunking psychic skeptics, actually, because the skeptics always tend to want to debunk a psychic. So we'll have a discussion on things that can challenge the mind of a skeptic and see if they actually really are thinking outside the box or not. And I will just give you a little bit of preview. They're not. All right. Okay, let's shuffle these cards and see what the collective read is. Stephanie Parra, CG Organics, hello. Andrea Whelms, good to see you. And Samantha R, good to see you. And Samantha says, actually, early this week was lots of drama, external drama, and now the eclipse is over, there's an energy crash. True that. Definitely feel the energy crashing as well for a lot of people. For some people, the energy, the drama has just begun for a lot of people, the starting of this eclipse. So, All right, let's shuffle here and see what's going on with this week's energy. So I know last week we were talking about, kind of allowing yourself to push yourself forward, outside of the box, making the decisions for yourself, to see the levels of reality that really are calling you forward, your purpose coming to manifestation, right? And those things come to fruition, the things that the seeds you've been planted, are actually now, aligning for you. And so, but you have to be in the perfect balance to see it, and understand, the things that are tangible right now, because there's a lot of things that are tangible, that are from your past, and a lot of things coming in that are tangible of your future. And so it's hard to differentiate what has to stay and what has to go. We'll see if that's coming out here on the read. And so I think, moving forward as we, next week we'll be in Libra season. And so that will be something that you'll also we'll talk about then, because we'll have Chris Reck on actually doing our tag team readings next Thursday. So we can get more into Libra season as well. Interesting. I like these cards coming out. Okay. All right. Let's pull some oracles here. All right. And we are shuffling the oracle cards. As you can see, I'm a little, my energy has been a little, kind of like bland, right? That's right. You debunked the debunkers. That's exactly right. All right. I like this. Okay. I didn't even get to tap into my channel here. Give me a moment. Let's tap in. Okay. First card would come in this position, the strength card. And I got my, the green screen's really screwing with the cards here. I want you guys to understand, and this may sound very cliche, that the things that you're going through is to provide strength, or at least to get you to realize the strength that you have within you, the inner strength. Because I always say, if you have the strength to deal with the shit, you have the strength to deal with actually to getting out of it, right? Because a lot of those who are in really toxic relationships or in such circumstances that are very heavy, you have a lot of strength to deal with that. To deal with the constant chatter, the constant bickering, the constant fighting, the constant abusive energy, whatever the case is. If you're consistently tolerating that, boy, are you strong to deal with it. And so now it's time to redirect the strength, because every characteristic that we have can be utilized in two formats, a powered version or a disempowered version. So I know a lot of people say, oh, but I'm, this sign, I'm Pisces, or I'm this Aquarius, or I'm a Virgo, so I overthink. And I always say, well, your characteristic does have two qualities to it, the disempowered and the empowered. So if you overthink, then potentially you might want to look at your thought processes and start thinking in your favor. Because you can think outside of your favor or think in your favor. You can't change the characteristics of what you have. Okay. And so if you're an overthinker, learn how to think in your favor so it works to your benefit. And same thing with strength. If you realize you've been tolerating a lot of crap in your life and dealing with it consistently, ask yourself, why are you using your strength to put up with nonsense? Why are you using your strength to deal with things that don't really fit in your overall agenda moving forward in your life, or just are taking from you? Why are you using your strength in that fashion? Rechannel, redirect that strength energy to get you out of those circumstances to push you forward. And so the Four of Wands in the second position, too, it's really saying to really focus on your home life right now. Get your sanctuary together. Get your home foundation together now, right? Bring that into balance. Bring that into view for you as far as what you need to do to secure or even to amplify the energy in your home. Because your home is your safe haven, and I would say your home is a reflection of where you're at mentally. If it's a mess, you need to also declutter the mind, right? If it's too sterile, maybe you're actually not letting some fun in your life, right? So really focus on that. There may be a lot of you guys moving or projecting a move this month or next month. So even if you may not be moving in the next month or so, you might be projecting, it's time for me to get into a situation or space, an environment that really is representative of what I vibe with, what I feel. And so you might even be projecting that for next year, but I think you'll start making those realizations in the next month or so that, hey, I need to get a new home, or it's time for me to move or find the environment or the sanctuary that I really been desiring all this time, because right now the energy I'm at is stale. Right? And so you will feel those urges. And again, whether it be this year or next year, you'll start feeling, oh, it's time. I see the direction. I see the trajectory pulling me forward in that regard. Right. And I love the Six of Wands too. It's all about being victorious, right? So that's very cliche in general, but that means what you're doing and the efforts that you are making will render in your favor, right? And so the callings that you're feeling from spirit within, when you acknowledge it and you consider it and you take direction to follow it, well, then you'll be victorious. You will see things around you start to ship and shape, and you'll see the synchronicities to say, this connection is actually in favor, because I always say that we're always aligning with energy in a sense, and everything is always synchronous and everything is always, I would say, matching our energy. And so, but we only give credit to those manifestations when they're things that we want, never to the things that we don't want. So everything is structured based on our energy and our perception of life. So the things in your life you don't want, they're there because they match your energy, the results of your behavior. That's synchronous. People don't want to talk about, oh, synchronicity, I keep attracting bad relationships. Like, that's synchronicity too, right? And so we have to understand, we start seeing that we're actually making decisions and choices that really is coming from our heart, our soul, however you want to define it to be. Then you'll start seeing the synchronicities moving forward to guide you to a newer path. And I always say to myself, I question, am I creating this or just being psychic about it? Because a lot of times I just see things kind of line up like in ways that it feels like it was predetermined maybe months or even years ago, right? And so I've come to the conclusion after even learning about manifestation and law of attraction that it's a little bit of both. We predetermine a lot of things, and I think our soul consciousness is way more advanced than we think. And especially when we're having our sleep time, we're dreaming at nighttime, and we go back into the astral plane at night, we're rearranging our trajectory too, don't forget. So many people forget about what we're doing when we're in our dream space and we're sleeping at night. Where do we go, right? Like the Billie Eilish album. When we sleep, where do we go? And so what we do is we actually go back into the astral plane. We kind of observe our trajectory, kind of say, you know what, let me put this in here. Let me arrange this over here. So we do that. So a lot of times we think it's this universal law of attraction that's kind of attracting things and manifesting things, but it's really us that rearrange it, realign it in our sleep to then come into the physical state to experience it. So, and the reason why I'm so vocal and been so vocal about manifestation, law of attraction, because it's not necessarily accurate in what's really happening, and it's taking the credit and power away from your own soul and your own spirit and your own creation from the spiritual perspective. That you don't have to hyper-focus in the physical world to get things done. This is the synchronicity I'm talking about, that when you feel the calls of spirit and you feel the call of your soul directing you forward and you start taking those steps, you'll start seeing everything's connected, everything's aligned. And you'll start realizing that, oh, this is the essence and the true signature of my frequency of my soul. And that's when things start happening very quickly for you, right? Because it's all about movement, quick movement, a lot of movement going forward, especially going into Libra season, which will be in the next week or so. So you'll feel a lot of movement moving forward. You'll feel like a lot of direction. A lot of guys might even feel, and I would say a lot of guys are tired now and having a little bit of vertigo. I would say when you remove something from your past that's been there for a long time and you get rid of it, you then realize how depleted you've been from it, and it's going to knock you off balance because you've been so used to carrying that heavy energy, and now that it's gone, you're like, whoa. You have to kind of refine that balance and readjust. You're like, okay, what's my new footing now that I let go of that energy, that shit that's been kind of, I've been so used to carrying. You got to reposition yourself. You got to refine that new rhythm and find that balance. And a lot of you guys have been having that type of vertigo dizziness experience the past week or so. But it's preparing you for Libra season. As we know, Libra is all about balance. And so you're going to find that balance to create that movement moving forward. So be thankful that you released the anchor that's been there maybe a long time in your life emotionally, and not even just conditionally. Sometimes just releasing the emotional anchors create a huge difference in your experience moving forward in your life. So this is a wonderful time now to understand that's where the movement starts. And so this sleepy period that you're having, this kind of, I would say, is the calm before the storm, rest before the movement starts. So stop fighting the tiredness. There's nothing wrong with being tired, okay? Everyone thinks, I'm tired, something's wrong, or I don't feel good, something's wrong. No, we're supposed to have down moments in our trajectory where we rest, recuperate, reflect, rejuvenate. And I always say when we get ill, that's a indication that you need to rejuvenate. You're not focusing on rejuvenating, so your body's ill. Rejuvenate. And so many people say, what's wrong with me? They get so focused on the illness instead of focusing on what's creating the illness or the downtime or the exhaustion, and allowing ourselves to not beat ourselves up for feeling this way because we're not happy all the time. So we can allow ourselves to rejuvenate, take the rest that we need so we can prepare for the next chapter. Okay, we're not supposed to be happy 24/7 all the time. There's a dynamic, a beautiful dynamic of emotion and range of experience that we're here to experience. And so during this time, it is about finding that wisdom, as this oracle card says. Okay, it's all about the wisdom of self, the wisdom of what's going on, the wisdom about reality around you, the wisdom about your own evolution, as well how it connects to the collective experience. That's the wisdom that we're trying to obtain here. We're not trying to obtain the wisdom of how to get things. Okay, and I have been very vocal about this. People are so focused on getting things, like that's somehow spiritual because you got things, and it's not about getting things. It's trying to stepping outside of the getting things and start finding ways to start feeling things, because you at any moment in time have the control and the power to start feeling however you want to feel right now. You want to feel happy, you can. If you want to feel like shit, you can too. If you want to feel joy, misery, excitement, you have the ability to channel the thought and emotion of what you wish to channel to experience right now. But when you start putting the conditions of what you need to get to feel those feelings, then you actually end up blocking yourself from experiencing anything, because you're putting a conditional time parameter on things to say, I have to wait to feel this way until I get that thing, or until I get that relationship, or until I get the job, or until I get the money, or until I get the house. You're basically saying, I'm not going to be happy until I get those things. So you're basically saying things make you happy. And what happens when you actually remove and you pass on from this physical earth, you no more have things, then where's your happiness going to come from? So do you want your source of happiness to be from things? Or do you want your source of happiness to come from the source of happiness, which is your soul, which is your inner being, which is source energy? Okay? And I would say when the happiest state you could be in is when you're in the most neutral state. When you're not like giddy for happy, all that energy, right? When you're just like neutral, at peace. A neutral vibration. Because I see people who are happy all the time. They're kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They're out of balance. They're out of whack. They're always like, oh my God. Oh my. It's like, calm it down. Like, let's get out of delusion and la la land. And there's people who are overly angry all the time and irritable all the time. It's like, all right, calm it down. Same like vibrational frequency, same fast frequency. It's just a different expression. So when we think of peace and calm, we think of a nice neutral tone that's balanced. There's a peace, there's a contentment, right? There's also a little bit of melancholy in that too, but there's some sort of a balance between the duality, and that's what we're looking for here. Okay? You don't want to be on any extreme end of the spectrum. All right. And then we have the Three of Swords in reverse. And to me, in the upright always represents to me about heartache, heart pain. And the reverse position means that you're releasing the heartache and the pain. Because what you will realize, a lot of pain that you've been carrying is giving you that anxiety and the angst of having to do something. I need something to replace the anxiety that what I've been deprived of. I need something to fill it now. I need a new relationship to make me feel better. We have all this anxiety and angst because we didn't let go of what was causing the pain, but now that we do, we realize we don't need those things anymore. That's why when many people go through breakups, they're like, I'm done with relationships, because you've exhausted yourself and you need to replenish and rejuvenate. And that's where real movement happens. So you don't want to repeal and replace. You don't want to take a situation and say, okay, well, I'm in a miserable marriage now, so is there somebody else for me? I get that a lot from people. Not that I'm being judgmental of this, but I want to bring this to awareness so people understand that if you're thinking this, you're not alone. But then people are in a marriage that's not over, haven't divorced yet, they haven't made any decisions to maneuver out of it, and they're asking me because they're unhappy, is there somebody else for me in my life? I'm like, you may want to resolve and close this chapter before you start beginning to talk about that. Whether there is or isn't is irrelevant. It's the fact that your perception of what you're dealing with is actually off, and that's keeping you blocked and stuck. And you're trying to replace what you've created from your past, and you don't like what's in your past because the past manifestation still lingers in the present. And you think somehow the future is going to wipe it out. And we're saying you'll never get to that future if you don't wipe out the past of what's in the present to connected or related to in that sense. So I really stop falling on your own swords. Right? A lot of you guys are just falling on your own sword, and it's like, why? Why are you doing that to yourselves? And you guys should be hungry for that wisdom. So we got the wisdom with the oracle card and the assessing. You guys need to be very hungry for getting that wisdom. You need to start looking at the structure and the mechanics of your own life. I made a video a couple, I think it was last week, about everyone's so focused on the mechanics of the universe and the structure of the universe and all these different things. Oh, I'm spiritual. It's like, yeah, but what about your own life? You have debt, karmic debt that's built up. You have actual literal monetary debt building up. You have deprivation illusions you're not pacifying in your life, but you want to be so focused on the structure of this universe as somehow that's enlightening you. It's not doing anything. That type of knowledge doesn't bring wisdom. You want wisdom. Knowledge of things is a wonderful thing, but it doesn't fix or heal what you're going through. You want to access the wisdom of how to grow and expand your life, and also understand how to experience what you're experiencing, how to master being affected by things in your life that you shouldn't be affected by, how to communicate better, how to express yourself better. All of that requires wisdom. And wisdom of self, wisdom of your, and when I say wisdom of self, I really mean the past. I'm actually going to do another live show called Aspects of Self, because I always say many times about the self and the soul expression. So actually we'll break down in another live show defining what these aspects of self really are to make it very clear for you. So you understand this way when I say the self, you understand what I really mean by the self and the dynamics of such, which includes your previous incarnational experiences and how you're evolving now and moving forward. And all that information is stored in your DNA. Every aspect and past experience you have for previous incarnations is stored in our DNA, so we can access those things, by the way. So the more we dive into meditation and learning more about the self, we'll actually channel things about ourselves that we probably never thought we could do in this lifetime. And so, for example, I incarnated just knowing how to do music. I just knew how to play the piano at 4 years old without being taught, and producing music easy. And I know that's part of my DNA. I have access that I've been a musician in a past lifetime. Just came easy to me. And same thing with the mystical abilities I have. I have a whole bunch of built up, mystical experience from my previous incarnations that rolled over in this lifetime. And we can also dive deeper, and we call it the Akashic records. I always say accessing memory in our DNA to access our past, experiences and incarnations to see the abilities and talents and perspectives that we've had. Because we've been there, done that. And a lot of times, a lot of people have a fear of things for no reason. I'm like, that's fear from your previous incarnation. Dive into that. And I've always been curious about, why do I have fear of knives? I always have knives around me. Fears about having knives and feeling this, stabbing sensation in my chest. I never knew why. And then later on in my life, I wanted to know why. Like, where's that coming from? It's got to come from a past life. And then I had a past life regression, and I had a regression to where I was stabbed in my chest 11 times. In a Renaissance period, and the setting was so real, and it was confirmed to me many years later. Even in fact, when it through past life regressions through other readers and so forth. So it's very interesting. When you want to understand more of the self, you could actually start, I would say, channeling and conjuring other abilities and insights and experiences and knowledge that you have from your previous incarnations experiences, and be more perceptive and more clear about that, and more aware. It's funny that the last card was realization too. The realization of self. And we can say realization. No, it's about realization. Okay, what the hell does that mean? We got to talk about what that means about realization. And it means you're realizing what I just said, the true aspects of self. Okay? And that's what brings in the balance. And that's what brings in, I would say, the awareness of your purpose and where you're going. And that also brings in the awareness that all this stupid shit about how to manifest things, you'll realize it's a bunch of bullshit, because it's not what life is about. And that's not even what spirituality is about. And all that stuff will fall away in a couple years when you start practicing that stuff. You'll realize if you grow out of it, or you stay stuck in it, and you go down the spiral with that conditional, two-dimensional thinking of materialism and obtaining things versus obtaining wisdom. So you should be very wisdom focused. I want more wisdom. I want more ways to think better, to speak better, to handle things better, to be better, to express myself better. You know what I mean? So this is what we should be focusing on for this week, moving into Libra season, and bringing that balance. So guys, rest up. Take the sun. If you're tired, stop fighting being tired. If you're tired, go to bed. Go to sleep. Right? Rebuild. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I don't know why I feel so heavy. Go to sleep. Go to bed. Right? Don't spend extra time, gossiping on the phone or hearing other people's bullshit. Go to bed. Take a nap. Say, sorry, I'm tired. Let me go to bed. Let me rejuvenate. Take the signs that Spirit is telling you when you need to when you're tired, go to sleep. You need to sleep. So many people here complaining about being so tired. I'm like, just go to bed. Spend more time sleeping at this moment in time. Animals hibernate. So sometimes we need to hibernate, and we're always in a busy go all the time. When do we have time to sleep? And sometimes just sleeping at nighttime is not enough. Sometimes we need a weekend or a week to just veg. Do it. Allow yourselves to do that this week, so you can allow the doors to open up from your emotions, from your intellect, and you'll start feeling that movement because you allowed yourself to rejuvenate and relax and rest. Okay? I'm done with that. With that read, all right? And a lot of guys are even tired. In the past live shows have been very tired too. And that's great. So rest. And when I'm tired, I rest. I'm like, I don't have time for answering text messages because everyone texts all the time. And of course, as you know, friends are always asking me to read things for them. And I'm like saying, I just finished reading, a lot of people today. Can you give me a break? So set your boundaries. Okay. Set your boundaries. All right. Now, debunking psychic skeptics. Now, the funny thing is when you talk to skeptics, I like to say more cynic because I think it's very healthy to have skepticism. Even with the work that I do and started the work I did as a kid, I was always skeptical. I'm like, wait a minute, it can't be this. Maybe it's my brain. And so I'd always dive in and learn through having healthy skepticism. And I would say having healthy skepticism and then also curiosity can grant you so much wisdom and experience and perspective on things that you might not have any type of wisdom or experience on. So, but I'm mainly talking about like cynics, people who are just cynical and don't believe because they just don't believe. And a lot of skeptics, their only rebuttal is that psychics are frauds. That's it. It's like, oh, tell me something I haven't heard before. At least be intellectual with your refute or rebuttal on psychics and intuitives and mediums. Just say something new of why it doesn't exist, other than you just don't believe in it. So I like to have the discussion about those people and say, okay, well, if we don't have spirit, and we're not spirit consciousness, let's talk about the structure of our earth. Let's look at our universe, how everything is like really perfectly aligned, how the sun and moon are in perfect rotation of each other and sun and the earth, and how just everything aligns with each other and it's perfect cycle with each other. The magnificent species and dynamic species of animals that we have, the trees, the plants, how the fruit is here to grow for we can eat, and there's seeds in the fruit so we can replant the fruit and have more fruit and food to eat and plant and all that great stuff. And even the structure of our human bodies, how, in order to eat, we have to have a digestive system, respiratory system to breathe with the oxygen, how it's all connected and working in perfect harmony and with an intelligent, brilliant design. So we don't have spirit skeptics thing. There's no spirit consciousness. It's just all this is just here just because. And there's really no meaning because if we die and we're dead, when we die, we're dead. There's nothing, left of us and nothing to reflect on. And there's no deity to even reflect on. Then what's the point for all this brilliance and magnificence of this experience? We're dead. We're dead. And therefore, this life just keeps happening and going on for no reason, no reflection, no experience, nuh-uh. See, that to me makes no sense when I bring a question of saying, well, what's the purpose of all this? Do you just believe life is meaningless? These cynics believe that the life is just meaningless then, and so... And I say, again, if there's no meaning, so what's the point of this structure? There's got to be more intelligence than that, because if this is intelligently designed, then our consciousness and how we're perceiving things must be more intelligent as well. And we know from Einstein that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So our consciousness, our soul, our spirit, our awareness at least is energy. And so it has to do something else after being focused through a physical body. So the first thing I say with skeptics is more about a philosophy of saying that look how brilliant this world is and this earth is and structure of species and humanity. Look how in depth it is, that intelligence. But it just kind of ends when you die. Nothing else to reflect on. So they don't really have an answer to that. I'm just like, well, you just can't think outside the box, can you? Right? And so... and I would say, what about those also who have, many people have had, almost everybody I know has had an intuitive experience in their life. They've had some sort of a premonition, or they've had a psychic prediction while they were sleeping. Most everybody I've talked to have had an experience of a psychic prediction or awareness or an intuitive ability. So I always ask them to explain this and explain what does that mean. Especially there are children that are born and they incarnate. They wake up, they're like 4 or 5, and they start saying, "My name is so and so, and I live at such address." And all of a sudden, people research, and that person really existed. So these kids at 4 or 5 are going to the library and digging up records of people and saying, "I'm this person across the world." What about that phenomena, right? And they're like, well, I don't know. They can't process. Like, because what, a 6-year-old's going to the library and digging this stuff up? Other than saying, oh, well, people are frauding people, so the parents are telling them. It's like, what? So, that's another thing I like to kind of bring to their attention about the phenomena and the unanswered, reasons behind that, And so another thing I always say too is like people can pick up an energy in a room. Like we have to have instinct, right? Intuition. Animals have instinct. They can sense when my dog is home and my parents are like 10 minutes away. He knows that they're there. He goes to the door and is like waiting for them and excited. How does he know? I'm just in the bathroom. I'm showering. I don't get any more excited when my parents come over. It's normal for me, right? He gets excited. Or all of a sudden I see my dog with his hair stand up and I'm like, what's going on? And then like 2 minutes later, a dog comes around the corner, right? And so dogs and animals have instinct and intuition too. And so do we. We need to be able to feel out our environment, right? And feel out the energy space that we were in. How do you define that? We can read a room. When someone is like depressed in a room or angered in a room, you can walk in a room and feel that anger energy, right? And so how do you explain that? I tell them, what is that awareness? The ability to want to feel and to love. That's not a processing. Emotion is not processing. Explain this. They're like, oh, well, the brain kind of process. And then they really can't like go outside of the fact that we can really feel external energy intuitively. Right? They just hit a wall again when I try to ask them to explain this. And so, so another thing too is about, psychic consistencies, right? So there's so many people call themselves psychic. So surely not everyone has the idea of wanting to be a fraud, especially people who claim to be psychic who don't even do it for a living, take money for it. So they're frauds too. And they have psychic awareness and experiences with spirit and ghosts and all that stuff. Like that somehow they're just being frauding themselves and keeping it to themselves for no reason. Like, and I say, what about psychic consistencies? A person who goes to different psychics that tell them the same thing. And I have like many times readers or sitters, quorants go to a reader, they're told they were a specific thing in a past life, and 3-4 other psychics tell them the same thing from different timeline, from different aspects in time of their life, in a sense, different reads. Explain those consistencies, within psychic reads, and again, they hit a wall because they can't understand, well, how could that information be consistent, especially when they're phone readings, we're not even seeing the person, because they always want to talk about cold reading. 90% of now it's more video sessions, but before I did 100% phone readings. I didn't see what the person looked like, and, how do you cold read someone you can't see who doesn't even speak? Because when I hop into my phone sessions, I would just come in and just like I say, what's a question? And I go from there. They don't tell me anything, don't feed me information. And I was completely blind. And I loved that. And people would want to do it in person. I'm like, nope, I like not being influenced by looking at you. Of course, now it's evolved, with video sessions. I've been doing it so long that it's nice to be with people. They still can't explain psychic consistencies either across the board. But another thing, right, is psychic spies. From 1972 to 1995, the CIA used the Project Stargate, where they used psychic spies to do remote viewing to capture criminals and so forth. So they explained this, and so they had many psychics that were able to like view a location, do some sort of astral projection, and there was one psychic police officer that uses psychic abilities to actually go in and actually find a location of a person where they were at and arrest them. So they utilized the ability. They actually validated and vindicated a lot of what is the word am I saying? Parapsychology, sorry. Through parapsychology, they're able to vindicate a lot of these remote viewing, aspects of these readers to vindicate that it was actually true and real in a sense, right? So we had that aspect of psychic spies used by the CIA, which, of course they discontinued that in 1995, but I believe they're still using them. And I know a lot of people who work for government and law enforcement who are psychics and still are utilized in that way. I've always been kind of paranoid about doing that, but I think that's kind of maybe later on in my career I'll be working for law enforcement because I've kind of done a couple, cases that I've solved through readings to help people solve and stuff, and so I've always been kind of paranoid about that. So it's a big responsibility, but at some point I will do that and get there. But how do you explain that? The skeptics can't. They hit a wall on this. Because there's nothing, if they can't say fraud, there's nothing they can do to explain anything outside the box thinking, right? And they get stumped every time. Like they don't, there's no much intellectual, I would say, bandwidth to explain the out of the box, experiences and ideas. And I would also say NDEs, people have near-death experiences who actually, they leave their body, have near-death experiences. They're clinically dead, and they're able to come back and tell what everybody else is doing in the room where they were not, or where the other person was, and so forth. Explain that phenomena. How can they actually, predict or say the other person was in their home doing these things when they left their body, detached from their body? So NDEs is another way I like to get the discussion with skeptics, say, explain this phenomena. And so there's so many different variables of all these millions of people have experienced, but they're just frauds, right? All these experienced people, they're just frauds or crazy. That's it. Two things. And they did a lot of psychic experiments too, where they would have like images, displayed on a monitor or a TV screen. And the person was, hooked up to the machine and were able to measure their emotional reaction. And they were finding that before they flashed a scary picture on the screen, the person reacted in fear. The moment, right before they flashed a picture of a pet, the person felt like a love energy, a peaceful energy. So they were finding that that people were responding and reacting to the picture before they actually shown the picture. And so there were some indications to these studies that, well, there's some sort of a psychic ability that could actually able to, respond before whatever's being shown is being shown. And I would think, to me, being psychic is not spiritual. It's actually very technical. We create machine. I would say if a wireless computer, a wireless phone can connect and transmit invisible data, then so can our brain, so can our minds. We have the ability to do so, to encode reality this way. So these are ways I like to debunk skeptics, because they really can't go any further with that thought processes or explain things that they haven't really experienced. Most skeptics or cynics have not done any research or actually expressed or experienced any type of intuition, psychic ability. They haven't studied it. They just want to, just the fact of just not believing is their cause or claim. Which is not good enough for me, right? And so I think that we need to understand that we all have that power. And I kind of laugh when skeptics say, oh, you're fraud, there's no way that can happen. I'm like, thank you. You make me feel like a superhero. You're looking at me saying what I do is impossible. Thank you, right? And I tell skeptics, I say, why don't you actually have a little bit of curiosity and try to explore it for yourself? Because when you're denying this power, you're denying yourself, because that's who we are. We're spirit consciousness. We have actually that intuition in within. To actually explore it. So the skeptics and cynics, you're actually denying yourself of the power that you actually have. And so, and to me, I always say, it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. I said, if I take your route and what you're saying is true, I tell the skeptic that life just ends when you die. I'd rather die knowing and believing that I actually thought outside the box and thought more of myself and explored more of my power than just sit in a mundane of 9 to 5 that life is meaningless. And I walk away from the situation and they sit there puzzled, because the issue with a skeptic and being skeptical about psychics and mediums is that they're not intellectually based on any type of grounding logic of why it's not existing or why it's not true, why it's fake and so forth. It's just they just don't believe. They just can't think outside the box, right? And so just as science couldn't predict, and everyone who thought aliens existed were crazy and they're hokey and people talking about channeling aliens, talking to aliens are all frauds, but yet now we had in the past couple of years it's been validated that aliens do exist. So look at the craziness they told people about believing in aliens, how they were treated, and people who had alien experiences and abductions and saw UFOs. Look how they were treated by society, that they're cuckoo and crazy. But yet now, just a couple years ago, it's been vindicated that aliens do exist, UFOs exist. So we're on the verge of contact. So again, it's really important for us to start being more rational and just being objective about experiences. And why do all these groups of people who are completely normally functioning and level-headed people having all these experiences? They're frauds too, even if they're not making money. They're frauds too. Okay. But there are frauds in everything. There's a lot of psychics that are frauds and they take advantage, and of course that exists. And so that means that psychic and the aspect of being a psychic medium is a fraudulent expression, just because there's frauds in it. And the fact that I have to kind of clarify that is not really, I feel like I'm talking to a 2-year-old a lot of times. So those are ways I like to debunk skeptics, because you could try to give them a reading. They're going to deny everything. And we're human too. So they can block our perspective. They could block our energy, and they could deny things. And like a lawyer, I would say a lawyer friend told me before, like you can indict a ham sandwich. If you want to make something guilty, you can, right? And so, and I always like to say too, like, we have to feel their energy too, and we could also be blocked. And I think that when we're put to a test, many people could crumble in those circumstances, because they're human and they get insecure and they feel pressured, and so they can actually fail in that process. And so that's not a good way to test it. So that's like I like to go to the skeptics and just have a intellectual or philosophical conversation and see what they think, and that's where they fail. That's where they fail, And so let's get to these readings now. They fail every time, because they want to just pressure the psychic, like, well, tell me and explain to me. And I had an experience, by the way, too, where I was with someone who they weren't necessarily skeptical, but they just was not like grasping the information. And so it was a mediumship session. And I said to them, and I did this for free too, by the way, stupid me. And I said to them, I said, did your aunt just passed? And they're like, yeah, my mom's sister. I'm like, your aunt, And I said, she passed of lung cancer? He's like, yeah. And I said, and I'm getting a name like Hamija or something. He's like, no. I said, I don't, but like Hamija, that Ija part, I said, sounds very clear to me, but I just don't know the beginning part. Hamija, he's like, no. He kept saying no, right? I'm just like, what is her name? He goes, Matija. And I said, are you really, dude? Like, I'm sitting there like, really, that's not a common name. I'm like, Hamija. I'd say, but I know the ending part was correct. You kept saying, no, 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 no. And her name's Matija. I ended the call. I said, really, I'm not playing this with you. So if there's people who kind of believe that, do that like that, imagine a cynic when you're giving the information. No, no, no. You know, it's not my aunt. It was my mom's sister. You know, stupid things like that. So hit him with philosophy, hit him with psychology, hit him with also, you know, ideas and with actual, like, you know, thinking outside the box, you know, discussions, and they really kind of fail when it comes to that. So anyways, let's get to the readings, shall we? Okay, Stephanie, I'm confused here. Do you want me to answer the question? Because you say you don't want me to say the question, but, you know. What do you want me to do, Stephanie? I'll wait to your answer because you said don't say it a lot, so answer it now. What do you want me to do on that? And we'll move forward. So Kathleen Prantis, we'll do a random card pull. And guys, I got my new deck. As you know, my other deck was falling apart. These kind of are holographic, but the green screen takes out the greens. You can't see it. My other deck was falling apart. They're brutal, and I want to go back to traditional Rider Tarot, which I have here. And these are kind of magical, these cards. These cards have been very clear for me, too. Ran a card pull for Kate. Oh, okay. Stephanie wants to do video? Okay, we'll get you on. Okay. I'll get you in a moment, Steph. Actually, let me do this now while I'm doing the card pull for Kate. I'll send you the link in there. Bada bing. Copied. Yay. And let's give you to this. Or let's give you to this. I've been stumbling on my words since the eclipse, actually. I've been kind of like tongue-tied on the eclipse. See? Eclipse. On the eclipse. I've been kind of tongue-tied. Okay. So, Stephanie, I sent the link. So I'm just going to do a card pull for Kate. You click on that. We'll get you in. Let me make sure I got my headphones. So when you come in, there's not a delay. All right. Okay. For Kate. I need to put my air on. I'm freaking hot over here. Okay. Just to get my nest going on here. Let me see this. I feel, I feel like there's still relationship stuff going on for Kate. You know, or still holding on. Let me show these cards here. So, the Magician card is someone who's definitely in control and creating things, right? And creating their experiences, right? And so, the Lover's card in reversed, it's saying that you're creating this aspect of relationships that's not going in your favor. And you're creating things that are not really beneficial when it comes to your relationships. And with the, of course, the Four of Pentacles here too, like you can see he's just holding on, right? So, use this as a financial card, but in this layout here, it's saying like you're still holding on to the past. Like you're still holding on to that relationship that didn't work. Let it go. What is beneficial to holding on to this relationship? What's beneficial to it? It's not doing anything. It's not here, the past, right? And it's keeping you in the hangman position, right? It's suspended. And actually it was upside down too. But you're feeling yourself being suspended. And I think that not letting go of that past idea, because remember, a lot of you guys are holding on to ideas of the past when it comes to relationships, not the actual relationship. And so a lot of you guys are more obsessed with the idea of the past, not the actual person or circumstance. It's just an idea that you're circling in your mind that you're like, oh, but what if, and what about this, and what about that, and are they this or are they that, and what if I this? And it's like, why would you start calculating things that's not even present in your life? You know what I'm saying? Like, and why would you put yourself through that ringer? You know, and not only this, why would you give one person all that energy out of the billions of people on this planet? You know, and I would say, I blame the soulmate terminology for this crap, but he's my soulmate. Like that stuff, like get that out of your mind, because your soulmate's supposed to be present with you, not disconnected from you, okay? And if it's a relationship that you think is your soulmate, it might be karmic. It might be someone who's presents you a karmic lesson that you need to learn and evolve from to understand that that is a no-no, right? That's a karmic relationship to show you like this is a no-no. You want to stop this, right? Soulmates stay. Soulmates are present. Soulmates don't leave. Soulmates don't come in and out. Soulmates don't abandon. Soulmates don't take advantage. Okay? So it's time to let go of this past idea of relationships and start creating something new. Because, again, Kate, feeling trapped again, and you're doing it to yourself. And so, so yeah, I'm actually speaking of your family. Kathleen, remember last time you did a read for someone who was in a relationship? I'm picking up on that person again. Crazy for coconuts. You had me read someone who was in that relationship. I'm picking up on her again. Just so you FYI. And I get confused because sometimes you do ask for her and ask for you. And so I'm picking up on her for some reason. So it's family. Okay? So, and you know who I'm talking about now. I'm talking about the family. Because sometimes I confuse you, read for you, read for, you know what I mean? So maybe you should be writing about that too if it's your book. But who's a person you had me read for like a couple weeks ago? It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago with that relationship. I'm picking up on that energy again. Kathleen. Do you remember? Because that's the energy I'm picking up on. Still. And for you, we'll pull for you. Stephanie, I'll get you in a minute because I'm in the middle of a read. So just bear with me a second. It's her, my love. I'm just telling you. Please let her know because she's still in that. And I don't know if you're still hearing about it with her, right? Your daughter, right? So I don't know if she's still going through that, my love. And I don't know if she's still in that position. And I don't know if you're hearing about it still, but it's got to go. Like she's still in that position of like holding on to it and what if. And so everything I said, she's got to hear this because it's bleeding through your read. And for some reason, when I read you, I was reading her again, that her energy came up again. So, and I still feel that heaviness, the processing still, and it's just got to go, and she's got to look forward on that. So she intruded on that. For you though, I think that you moving fast in your own endeavors too. So I'm actually doing 2 reads now, being that intruded in my own read. So this is going to be 2, I think, again, because that came out with her. This to me, right, the Hermit card is more about inspiration, so it doesn't mean that you're isolating. The Justice card is bringing balance. So this could be legal, but it's not legal for you. This is about bringing some sort of a balance. This is a generosity card in a sense, but to me, I feel like you're being generous with your expressions. It doesn't have to be money. It could be your time. And I think that that's going to help you to move on quickly, and it's going to be a quick, momentum with that, in a sense of moving forward in your own endeavors. So I like seeing the charitable card, the 6 of Pentacles, next to the Hermit card, because I feel like it really is you focusing on you now, which you should be. And the Knight of Swords is really kind of getting things done and rushing to get things done. You did mention a book, so this could also be talking about that endeavor too. But it's really more saying that you've been focusing more on your own endeavors and not maybe your daughter, and being so concerned of what your daughter's energy is, and maybe you've detached from that. But she's still kind of in the same space. It's still like, yeah, but I don't know, but I'm still feeling that. Like she's still in that modality. And I think that maybe you should write about that. And so you got different cards. You got the World card, but I think that's about bringing expression to the world. So that can be different variables in the read. To me, I feel like you also bringing this, message to the world. So if it is your book, perhaps you could be writing about something of this nature, which is why your daughter's energy kind of interfered with this. Which I think, your daughter's being a little selfish, and self-deprivating, and self-defecating, that she's got to snap out of it. So maybe you can write about this. Keep focusing on your endeavors though, because it feels like that's going to be something that's going to be good for you, And same thing. That's probably why it's blending too. So use your daughter as an inspiration as well. Right? The book has been helpful putting perfect. That's exactly what this is saying, my love, right? Moving forward, quickly moving forward, right? Focusing on the self, right? Exactly. Bringing the balance to yourself with the Justice card, right? In this sense, is when it's emotional, and the World card. So that's exactly what this is saying to you. Those are your cards. Hers are different, So, oh, there you go. So okay. Well, there you go, my love. So that's why she comes up. You've been writing a book about her. Chapters about her. So there you go. That's why she came up in the read. Okay. let's move on to Stephanie. She's been waiting. So yes, keep doing what you're doing. That's good, and be focused on the self, and don't get so intertwined with her because she's still stuck in the same position. Okay, let's set this up for Stephanie Panharara. Give me a moment. I got to get my headphones so I can hear you. And let's add you to the right, not the left. Give me a second so I can just put on these earbuds. Otherwise, it'll be a big echo and everyone hear like you're on karaoke. Hello, 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 hello. Okay. Oi! I can definitely feel the eclipse energy still. Okay. Un momento, por favor. I'm coming. Oh, these are backwards. I hate these things. I need new ones. I'm coming. Okay. Oi. Yeah, these are definitely a process. We're not using these again. Okay, and we will do that. Okay, what's going on, sweetie? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect, yes. What's your question?
It's my birthday reading. My birthday's on the 30th.
Happy birthday. Oh, on the 30th. Yeah. So premature birthday reading. So happy birthday. I'm not asking your age. We'll just assume that you're 25 still, right? So what do you want me to tap into, question-wise? I'll just use one.
Well, it's a very interesting birthday because it's the first one without my mommy.
Yeah.
So you can imagine I'm like a little bit emotional.
Well, not without her. Yeah, it's a different experience. I mean, like we've read before, she's validated. She's around you. But what do you want me to tap into for this portion? Yeah.
Just career. That question, what I sent you. I'm curious where that energy is coming from and why. I don't know where.
Well, I'll just say this without kind of, divulging the question. So, because you asked me not to. Imagine that the individual is scattered, right? And when you, like I told you before, like I predicted before, when you unplug, it'd be a scattered energy when you unplug. Mm-hmm. And so and you've been consistent. So now that energy is off balance. And so, the interference with the phone situation coming to you, all that stuff, I believe that's an excuse to just like throw a nudge to pretend like it was, the phone was hacked in a sense. So I feel like it was a nudge to you, to kind of be like, how it just like poke the bear. I think it was a poking of the bear, so to make it look like that. But I feel like it's more of a representation of the scattered energy because you unplugged. And so
I've
now
never felt that. Like that request to come at me out of nowhere, like I don't know
of course.
Where. Like,
well, you've been
an ATM. I'm not Wells Fargo.
Right, but again, that's. I'm trying to say it without exposing what you didn't want me to say. But it's like, imagine someone fakes being hacked, so then they can have a way to poke your bear with their name, and then but it was hacked. But it wasn't. It was them themselves doing it. You know what I mean?
Is he gonna keep poking?
It depends if you respond. Like if you were to say something like, "Hey, I think your phone was hacked."
No, I said you're out of your mind. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, and so what was your response? Nothing, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
You're out of your mind.
Exactly. And so you probably won't. And I think that for me, it would have been like something like, hey, you saw before, like, hey, I think your phone was hacked, or was your phone hacked? Like, oh, no, I didn't know, or, whatever the case is, you know what I mean? Or was your Zelle or whatever the case was it hacked? And so I just was expecting a response. I'm like, I don't feel like it was I think it was staged.
It felt like it.
Didn't feel like it, right? So just kind of poke a bear. But I'm saying, do you really want to deal with that childish nonsense?
No, but in 6 years, I've never felt that. That's what it threw me off. I've never had that from him, ever. So that's what I'm like, what is...
But when was the last time you actually pulled the plug, my love? You pulled the plug, and it's like...
Oh my God, it's been like almost the whole year.
What'd I tell you last year?
Yeah.
What'd I tell you last year? I told you that, right? And so
the more I unplug, he's gonna try to pull back in.
Because he like I remember I told you in the very beginning when I first read the individual that very slow to processing, drags stuff out. Remember that was kept saying over and over again. So even with his own torment, he'll drag it out and slow. You know what I'm saying? And I always told you he's very calculating. And so this is very calculating. energy. So,
It's very
but it just,
childish.
that's what I always said. He's very childish, right? So, so to me, it's just to me almost like a validation for you that you moved on and that you're starting to see in the light it really is. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the light it's been in. It's just childish, poking the bear, being passive aggressive, taking forever. And I think in the beginning, they didn't necessarily believe that it would actually, you had been detached this long. They're arrogant about it. They're arrogant the fact of saying that, oh, just stick around, very arrogant. And then the fact when you proved them wrong, like I was pushing you to do, and I'm glad you did, then that's where it's like, I don't know what's going on. And like, okay, I'm just dragging out his own turmoil. And, it's so ridiculous. It's very immature. So,
the other energy that I've been feeling a lot lately, it's Gabriel. Is he? I feel like he's gonna be poking in and out. I just sometimes I can tell. I mean, I completely have not had any communication with him.
well, I don't remember who this, but let me read it because I don't need to remember. I could just tap into it. Here's the thing, because what's happening, again, what we predicted before about the contracts and the job opportunity and all that stuff happening this time of the year, we said, and you were, anxious, and now you're in that modality, so it's good. I also told you that past circumstances will revisit you too, and this is just you feeling the past resurfacing. Because this is very, very, I would say, common that when we make changes or the new paradigm starts to begin, that old unresolved may start popping in or start reaching out again. So to me, you're probably just feeling that because you need to sever that completely. So it might come up physically or it just might come up in your mind because you are moving on. And a lot of those connections, and we all have psychic connections attached to everybody, right? And so the psychic connections that you still have open subconsciously will feel that you're pulling away more, and that's going to make them want to push more somehow, right? If they feel like they're losing you, completely, they'll feel that psychically. You need to just close those psychic connections. You don't want to feel what they're feeling. You don't want to give any type of feeling of what you're feeling to them, and so you want to close that connection. It's not that you're breaking a cord. Cord cutting does nothing because they're all part of our experiences. So we need to understand we've learned from those experiences. So cord cutting will do absolutely nothing. You just want to say, I'm shutting down the energetic feed. I don't want to feel them, and they're not feeling me. You want to close that. The connections will be there because they're part of your evolution, right? That's why people go to psychics and cord cut and it never works because you can't. It's part of your experience. It's who you are. So if you do it that way, I would advise that you close down the energetic communication, the psychic connection, both ways, and you'll feel less of this. And they will miss you, you'll miss them, like as far as like missing in the sense of they'll try to reach out, but then you won't get their call. Their call would get, directed somewhere else, you know what I mean? You'll just kind of have that type of not connecting energy with them anymore.
Anything quickly on my mommy?
Well, I know I'm probably going to say something, and then you'll come up right after, like, oh, it was this, and show me a picture. Because that happens all the time. You're like, I don't know. Let me see anything that comes up. I mean, other than the general that she's still actively with you and working with you, at least pushing you for work. I feel like she's a huge undercurrent and underscoring for you moving forward with your work, but she wants you to practice more patience. She's like, things take time, my love. You don't have to rush everything. So she's kind of like wanting you to make sure you're in a modality of patience so you don't become stressed and so forth. Who's this kid she's showing me? Does someone have a new kid? Did someone have a child or a new child or a young child around the family somewhere close and attached?
No, that
or someone getting pregnant. So someone's going to have a new child, or someone's expecting, or will be expecting soon in the family. Like, and it could be family friends too. No, it's not you. If it was you, I'd say it's you, and I would have told you that. But no, she's showing like a little child. So mark that down. Someone in the family might be expecting, or a friend of the family, someone close, because she's like blessing this new boy energy, this boy child energy. And so if it's not there because it seems fresh and new, and she's kind of showing me the boy grown up, but kind of blessing this child too in a sense. So that would make sense more in the future for who's around you, because I feel like if it's not now, it's like soon, like to come, or maybe a friend's like, oh, I'm having a kid or boy and so forth. And I think that she's also like representing the fact of rebirth, anyways, a new birth, and kind of coming in with something new for you too, but not a child, but coming in something new with you, because I feel like she's saying like love is around the corner for you and you don't realize it. So probably next year, she's like, She's like, she needs a man. She needs like a good man. Like she doesn't have to wait for it. She needs someone to help her. So your mom's like really wanted to be a modality in the hand of actually getting you into a relationship soon. Not now, but like probably like next year you might. And I think it's came up in another read too. But anything you want to ask her directly, she's just being loving and supportive. Nothing overly out of the box like we usually get. Just kind of being loving, being present with you right now. Anything you want to specifically ask her that we have something we haven't already mentioned?
Just is she proud of me?
Well, duh, yeah. I mean, she's always proud of you, but she's also like integrated with you right now. So she's like working with you. So it's more like a partnership now. So it's kind of hard to answer the question. Of course, she's proud of you, but she's like, we're working together. Like, so I think because she's saying you bring her around everything. Like you talk to her everywhere you're going. So yes, but she's like, we're doing it together. Her response is, we're doing it together, as you've asked her to. You've asked her to do things together that way still. So it's not like she doesn't want to say you're not alone on this. You know what I mean? She's saying, she says, you're always asking for her opinion and advice, even like, when she's not around. Like, Mom, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And so forth. And so, and she's always like winking. You feel the presence. She's saying you feel her like touch your arm or something. So if you ever feel the brushing of the arm, you ask a question. It's a yes, and something about you got to bring in some flowers in memory of her because she connects with plants, right? So bring in some sort of floral arrangement that's connected with her, something lavender color again. I don't know if you, that's right. Didn't we say something about a lavender necklace that she had and you found after one of the sessions too? Is that because I make sure that was you? Okay, because you didn't know at the time, then you found it. So I want to make sure I was not confusing with somebody else, but. Then it's lavender scent and a lavender color. Bring that in, because this way you can bring her energy around. You could hear her clearly and connect with her clearly. Because you talk to her in the car, she says you're looking in the car and talking like she's in the car with you. She's like, I hear you, what you're saying there too. Stop doing your makeup in the car, she says. But she's definitely like with you a lot and like almost like side by side with you. Almost like we're doing it together is what she's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's also not just, okay, it's your birthday. Okay, she's showing the birthday balloons. That's your birthday coming up. Okay, on the 30th. Gotcha. So she'll be present for that. You'll see a white dove on your birthday. She's going to give you some sort of a white dove or white bird reference on your birthday that will be very odd and very specific that she'll see. And she'll be like, she's there on your birthday. Because I think she takes your birthday serious too. She doesn't either. She really appreciated birthdays, or she honored birthdays a lot when she was alive. So it's important for your birthday is important to her. You know what I'm saying? So, so I think that she'll be with you in celebration. You'll see that white dove, manifest to show that she's connected with you, or white bird, and it will be very, very odd and specific. She shows me a red balloon. A red balloon is always like another celebration too. I just recently had the red balloon reference. My symbols have changed lately. I forget what that is, but there's another celebration or maybe an engagement coming around with somebody too. Just make a note of that. You probably won't know, but you'll understand when it comes up about it. Because red balloon, I remember one of my sessions, I get new symbols every decade, and I feel like she's saying that somebody's like new relationship and new engagement, and that's something that I think that you'll understand at that time when you see it. Okay. But she loves you. She's more than proud of you. She's working with you. So she's kind of like, her face when you said that, she's like, she's kind of like, well, duh, but I think that's more representative that she's like, she's really intertwined and very connected with you, as you should know by now.
And work is getting better, so that's great.
Well, that's what we said. We said that, beginning of this year, we told you that it's more, but the end of this year, actually it's happened sooner than I was feeling more like October. It's actually came sooner than October, so that's good.
It did.
Psychic timing could be like a month or so. So I'm glad. I tend to like to give a prediction 1 month later, just in case they screw it up, but yeah. She's proud of you. All right, my love. Well, she loves you.
Thank you, honey.
It's good to see you, and happy birthday if I don't see her. Actually, we will next live. You'll be out. We'll wish you happy birthday next week, next Thursday.
Yes.
So,
thank you.
All right, my love.
Okay,
always a pleasure to see you. All right,
thank you.
You too, love. Bye bye. Okay, let's see who is next on the list. We did Kathleen. Okay, we did Kathleen and Kate, or Kate and your daughter, actually. So we did 2 for that one. Tara M. card pull. Okay. And Nina, just put. I'm doing questions, Zach. No more card pulls. They get boring. there's some back to back. So because I'm not a tarot reader, I never thought the card pulls would be so consistent. Maybe I'll just change like $15 one question and do it that way. Because I'm not a tarot reader. I like to just hop in and be psychic. Sometimes the cards just like get monotonous for me. Ooh. It's funny, for Terra Mattis, or Terra M, let's just say Terra Matt. I almost want to play that song, I'm coming out. You know, that song? I want the world to know. Because these cards are kind of saying that. This is a kind of an emotional read, and card pulls are supposed to be simple. They're not supposed to be, and I usually try to go as specific as I can as a card pull, but they're supposed to be simple for time's sake, and they're just a card pull. Especially not seeing much, right? And so make the card pulls the most expensive. I like your thinking, Melissa. No. Yeah, no. I just like questions are more engaged with questions. Like, actually, I feel more challenged with the question, and the card pull is just like, meh, right? All right, but Tara, King of Pentacles in reverse. It's like you're coming out of like this kind of King of Pentacles to me is like a very rigid, very practical approach. So I feel like you're coming at things very, very impractical approach, as you probably should. The Page of Wands is kind of saying to me that there's some pillar of creativity that will come to the surface, to light, and manifest. And I think that once you start diving into more of this creative aspect or purpose, I think that's when you might just find that your finances start to kind of go in the better direction. Even if you don't get the financial aspect through this creative endeavor, the fact of being creative will actually boost your finances, because with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, this is coming out of like poverty, or coming out of a financial downfall or loss, right? So this is coming out of it. The upright is like you're hitting some financial turmoil. There's like debts. There's like loss of money. So they're saying you're coming out of that, but the Page of Wands is saying that this creative pillar, this aspect of creativity that you may be pondering, to express it, because that alone will boost the energy around you to allow even money to come through, finances to get better, because you've cleared out the block, in your life, in a sense, right? And so the Tower card means you're changing a lot. So people are scared of the Tower card. I like the Tower card. It's like I always say, with the lightnings and enlightenment, right? And so I think for you, the Tower card is breaking down old ideas. Again, with the King of Pentacles in the reverse being, coming out of conformity and letting go of practicality, and so this is a change. And so this is where I like to talk about manifestation, okay? Because this is when we're living our purpose and true purpose and not blocking our purpose, things just start to manifest, because you're allowing the energy to work the way it needs to work. I always say, when we are blocked and so forth, things are trying to maneuver in our life and calibrate, and we don't allow it to, because we're stuck in this funk that's blocking our expression. So just the fact of expressing what we've been blocking, things will start moving to support that energy. That's more about alignment. It's more about, your path is actually unfolding and opening up for you as it need to be. And whoever just sent another card pull, thank you, after I just said that. So this is great. And then the last card was a four of swords in reverse. And this is really kind of coming out of hibernation too. This is about kind of like being renewed and actually going forward and moving forward. So things will be moving forward because this creative endeavor, this creative expression, just overall your life will start picking up its pieces and starting to gain momentum. So the beginning collective read really is for you too. Okay, about find the balance. You let go of this kind of older, conformity energy, and now you're like focusing yourself and expressing creativity, and the tides just start moving now in your favor, because they always really were. We just stopped it, And so I think it's a great read, especially the Four of Wands reverse. It's kind of like renewed activity, even just like a new burst of energy. The Four of Swords in reverse is like a burst of energy coming out, with a new perspective, a new voice, new start. So all those cards actually kind of align together beautifully. So that's great. All right. let me find something that's a question, and I'll get back to some card pulls because the card pulls back to back get to be mundane. Okay, question for Beth. My love, please do it. And you got to be creative with it too. Like, think outside the box with it. Don't be traditional. Don't conform, right? First of all, just to kind of give you a little bit of a resonation, Tara, or Tara, I don't know how we say it, Vaz or Vase, right? I never wanted to be a reader. I was being a composer for music and TV and being a psychic mystic in the closet, and just only certain people knowing and not telling everybody, and didn't really see a career in it until Spirit had a different direction and I felt the calling. And the last I would have thought would be being on YouTube or being on social media. I didn't want to be on it at all. And so it's interesting how it completely flipped. And even the things that I'm expressing now, I never thought I'd be expressing, and how I've been, the voice that I have now. And I find my creativity is also expanding with it too, in a sense, just because it's becoming more of a natural flow. So be creative with your approach on it, Tara. Be very creative on your approach and follow that. Okay. Okay. For Beth. Will home values and rents continue to rise? I heard there would be an economic downturn, but I hope it won't affect real estate. I don't really buy, Beth, I don't buy into the fears of the market. I'm hearing so many different experiences even now that people are finding great prices of homes, or homes have gone up. So I just like it's going to like I've predicted before, it's going to like neutralize. Everyone says it's going to crash in like 2022, 2023. It's going to crash. Like, no, it's just going to neutralize. It's not going to massively drop, just kind of level out. So I see more kind of a little slide like this, kind of plateauing. And so, and I predicted about May of 2020, or 2025 will be a nice boom for the home housing market. So, but that doesn't mean that you can't find something great now. But May is, I feel like, a big burst when it comes to the housing market and in that sense in real estate, May of 2025. But I also feel like it's kind of like leveling out and things are kind of like this, and and so no, I don't buy into this whole crash stuff. I never felt that before. I don't feel it now. And so there's a lot of people that really want to instill fear because of politics, because they want people to invest in stocks, and they're controlling the markets too because of fear. So no, I don't feel that at all. I think we had our economic downturn in 2020 up until 2022. So we already had that. So I think we're kind of leveling out from that. So everybody loves to be in fear-based mind, Andy Joe. Hi, Scott. As beginner healers on our journey, how can we energetically help heal our lovely husky Winter from her baby heart tumor? We have seen holistic results, but open to all modalities. Fascism. Okay, thanks you. Grateful what you do for me. Oh, thank you, Andy. That was very sweet of you. Let me see with the husky. I think what you're doing is okay now. I'm also, what they're kind of showing me is like, not radiation, but like vibration therapy. They're showing me this. I think that what you're doing is working now. I think this is a long-term thing, but they're saying don't feel bad if you have to also have surgery to remove that too. But I don't feel it progressing for some reason. It's like I feel like it would kind of always be there, but then sustain like the whole life with it without it interfering. So it's like more the fear of having the tumor there, right? So, and so is that what it's called? Good. You've been taking, okay, perfect. Yeah, because I'm like, I still just like vibration therapy or something. Keep doing that, I think you're doing well with the food, so I don't feel any issues with the food. So I think you're good there. So just be consistent with what you're doing. I think that's good. And remember, even healing is a journey, my love, right? And so even the fact, like, it's not going to go away right away, but just the fact of the process of the healing, is great too. Let me see if there's anything to prevent, like to go away from. No, she feels clear right now, your husky. Winter feels clear to me. Because I just keep seeing like this I don't know if it has one special eye. I just see like a special eye. So I feel like, this is like karmic to help you practice healing. So I feel like your winter dog is actually there for you to help teach you about healing, actually. So your dog is actually teaching you, you know? What is that? Is that a question? Anything radiating a lot of EMF? Is that I don't know. Is that, not particularly. No. Mm-mm. I really think winter is actually there to have this to teach you how to to actually how to heal. Actually, so this is a process for you. So this is your training. This dog is training you, okay? And so you'll find success with this because you'll be working and understanding how to utilize, the healing components through your dog. So I feel like it's actually a spiritual training. Actually, yeah, that's good because I didn't feel that. So yeah, so that just confirms what it says. I didn't feel that, as being an issue now. So it's good that you did. But I don't think that's the issue either. I just think this is, more of like a destiny that this dog is designed to have this experience because it's teaching you how to focus on healing. And you don't have to be over, I would say, so over the top with it. You could just kind of like go through this process, nurture, keep it simple, they're saying, and allow the dog to teach you. But you're overthinking it too much. Yeah, you have, because dogs are more sentient than people, which is why I like dogs more than people. I'm kidding. I love my people so much. That's why I do this work, because I love people so much. But yes, and I think that once you have that synchronicity, you got to be intuitive with winter. Okay, be intuitive, because there's an intuitive download exchange that you're getting. You're thinking too much. Start feeling the communication. You'll understand what I'm saying. That dog is specifically put in your life to teach you how to heal. Okay, and so once you understand this, you'll have that communication. Because winter's just like, oh my God, I get it. You love me. Like, just like, listen to me, I'm trying to teach you. Like, I get it. You love me. Right. So, yeah. So I don't feel growing. This is a good thing. I don't see it getting any bigger, so that's good. That your winter feels smarter than you think, my love. So that's smarter than you think. So, okay. Who's next on the list? We got Andy. We got let me just do another card reading. So we have Sophia Rodriguez. I'm just going in order here. Despite the questions. I didn't expect it to be this busy tonight, actually. I expect it to be a very kind of a slow night tonight. No, that was simple. I asked people in the room. I go deeper than that. We go more specific than that. Okay, that was just a simple one question. Like, actual readings are really, we get down to business in a real reading. I'm just saying for those who are watching, in an actual real reading one-on-one, my sessions, we could get down to business. We go through all of it. I'm just sitting here looking at a blank screen, not knowing who I'm talking to, and one question for time. So yeah. I guess I'm selling myself, but I just know my work is a lot better when I have the time to be focused on one person in a real session. So this is like so watered down compared to my actual sessions. And those who've had sessions with me in the chat will verify that. This is like a very watered down preview. Okay, this is for Sophia. Because in my session, I'm actually dedicated to you, focused on you. We have so much time together, and I go very deep, a lot deeper. And I appreciate everybody. I'm one of you guys that still even show up for the lives too, and I have loyal. I don't know what to call you guys. Loyal clients. You guys, my clients are more to me than clients, because I've actually developed a lot of rapport with a lot of my clients through their evolution journey. And this week primarily, I've seen so many of my clients I've been working with for maybe a year or so, 180. And just seeing their growth and the evolution and being a part of that process. I mean, there's no better feeling in the world. So I don't even like to say clients. It's like, it's family to me in a sense too, in a different way. It's a spiritual family to me, because I just seen such amazing things. And I always have to say, I told you so. And they always tell me to, told you so. But Okay, this is for Sophia Rodriguez. Take your time. Manifest something new. There's an ending of a relationship, Sophia. You put a heart emoji, and I love you for that. But we got the three of swords. These are the cards talking. And so the three of swords for me is like it can mean so many different things. But I feel like there's an ending of a relationship around the corner. It could be a friendship, or even disconnection from a family member or an actual relationship. It's coming through to be general for me right now. But they're saying this ending is kind of like really the devil in the reverse card is really all about a spiritual awakening. And so it's also like, turning the devil upside down in a sense, figuratively speaking, right? So I really think that you will be realizing that the closing of this relationship is not so painful, but it needs to occur, and the Chariot in verse is saying like, take your time with the process. Like, not everything also has to be a grandeur event. Like sometimes just exiting a relationship or letting a relationship exit is good enough. Like it doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be like a marching band to confront and so forth. Because at the end of the day, like you're the creator, you're the magician of all the situations. You're the one making everything happen. At the end of the day, you got to be reminded of this. I don't mean to sound cliche on that, but you're the one that is really in control at the end of the day of this relationship or relationships. That when they go, it's because they need to go. And so that's kind of again, it could be a friendship, it could be a relationship, or an actual or even just a disconnection from a family member, but someone close to you in that regard. It feels like an ending of a relationship that you might define it to be painful because of the circumstance, the type of relationship, but at the same time, you will realize, well, that doesn't matter because it's time. You'll be accepting of healing and the time that's over in that sense. So, so that's more of like a heads up in a sense. Let me check PayPal. No, I'll go to PayPal. I got to go back and forth to PayPal and Venmo. But I always say, when people leave, let them leave. When people want to like walk away, let them walk away. They're doing you a favor. And I know it sounds cliche, but really, really think about those words too. Because
you've got mail.
I have mail. You don't want people around who don't want to be around, nor do you want to stick around people you don't want to stick around either. So a lot of times it really has nothing to do with you particularly. It could just be the fact that you're just growing out of somebody. People going, yes, Daryl said like 5 times tonight, bye Felicia. Oh, so many card pulls. I'm going to find a new way to flip it. Or maybe I'm just putting too much emphasis on the card pulls, you guys. Like I want to give you more, but maybe I'll make it more simplified. Phyllis Glenn is a question. I want to know what gifts do you see that I have. Thank you. I'm in the chat. My name is... Well, you definitely have a gift of communication. Okay. All right. Let me look at see what really comes up in that sense. Oh, Phyllis, I like your energy already. Now we'll look at, I guess gifts is to me, the word to me is kind of like, because I think, again, we all have gifts, right? But not in the sense that they're given, you've earned them, right? So everything we have, we earned from our previous incarnations. I just want to be philosophical about that. So the gifts that you've had, you've earned because of your evolution, okay? They're saying to me the gift of sight. Let me get into that. Let me just expand it for a moment here. Yes. I was kind of being more playful, like saying, oh, she can call a bitch out. Like, I really think you need to understand that you can see through things intuitively. You can call people out on their crap. They're saying you're a reflector. So I think people can tend to see themselves through you, and they might drop their shit on you in a sense because they're starting to see themselves in you. So I think you have to understand that you have the gift of seeing through things, and especially when it comes to people. And I really want you to elaborate more on this. because I think that you tend to second question yourself of whether or not what you see, through people is actually accurate or not. And they're saying to embrace this because that can really heighten your intuition and your perception psychically on what's going on around you, but also how to get people to watch out for certain things because you have this energy of protection that you can actually provide for a lot of people. So through your intuition, you can actually help people to maneuver around things that are unnecessary in their lives just by your insight, actually. So you have a gift of seeing. Okay. And so I definitely want you to utilize that ability and expand more on that ability, in a sense too. And they're saying you're a good storyteller as well, because they're showing you kind of like sitting down, writing at a desk. So I really feel like if you were to like write or tell a story somehow, and it doesn't necessarily have to be through writing. I think it's just being a storyteller overall is another attribute that's very creative. And that storytelling can be in a way to awaken people to certain ideas or to get people to understand things from a different point of view. I also feel like you have a good way of, I was laughing when I first tapped into you because you have a sense of humor to me. And I think that your sense of humor is effortless in a sense. So I think like combining your insight with your humor with also the ability to storytell can be a great way to package, any type of way that you wish, if you can want to guide somebody or even turn that into some sort of like guidance in a sense. You could potentially be a reader. And I say potentially because if you actually worked on it, you already have the open channel to do so. Of course, it'll take you time, but I think that you're very personable with people that it would come naturally to even just give people comfort, actually. So, if anything, you could be a freaking therapist, or a counselor or licensed clinical social worker or a nurse. You have those modalities of energy within you that could be expressed, and you should be good in love. If you ain't got anyone now, someone's coming soon. Okay, so I'm getting half energy. Like I feel like someone's there, but I don't feel like someone's there. And I feel like someone in. So I'm getting kind of mixture energy on this, probably because we're detached in a sense. But if you're questioning a relationship, then it turns into something. Or if you're questioning whether you're going to have a relationship, then they're saying that there's a relationship coming for you. And the Fool card came in conjunction that, so like a new beginning. So it could be a new beginnings on a already established relationship, or a new relationship is coming in for you. Okay, because I feel like there's someone there, so I just can't like read specifically from this position where we're at, where I'm at with you, the distance of whether or not that is actually, something that is a new relationship now, or something coming in, or if that relationship turns into something new, or you just have to get rid of that relationship that you're in now, and someone new is coming in or making room for it. Something of that energy I get with that. Yeah, you definitely should work on counseling or doing something of that nature. You got to connect with people. In that sense, it's the personable energy. I kind of can see your thumbnail. Let me zoom in here. It's so small. I want to see your face a little bit. Okay, I can see that in your face. So I would definitely, get into something that works in that. Even if it's a licensed clinical social worker, something of that nature. Do it. Okay, but understand you have the gift of seeing, the gift of sight. You can see through things. You can see through what people are saying, and I think that's a really fantastic ability that we all can possess and have. But it's more about your evolution. And another thing I get final with you, and I'm saying I can go on with you forever. you have a very infectious energy, and I think that's another reason why you might be working good with people, because you're very infectious with your energy. Because I want to sit with you longer. But I think that you have also the ability to just comfort people in a way that's seamless, and I think it comes very natural to you. And so I definitely want you to embrace that and use that to your best ability. All right. Okay, let's go on to, yeah, I know. And my love, and don't feel bad about that. Okay. And don't question. Oh, don't think you're cuckoo. Embrace it. That's an ability. That's a skill set. That's a talent. Utilize it. And that'll bring you forward. I always say, if you're the weird one, take that as a compliment. In this society, if you're the weird one, the odd one out, that's a freaking compliment. Because people are just so. A lot of people are just very in a zombie state in our world. A very like just kind of like, and I feel like people need something more like advanced philosophically, and I feel like people are just embrace the basics, and it's like crazy to me. I feel like things have kind of like declined intellectually with people, and it's like, what's going on? And so So any person that can bring more comfort and light and truth and expression and connectivity is massively needed in this planet. And if you have that natural ability to do it, Phyllis, then you should get going to do it. Okay. You're so funny, Andrea. I love you. Card, if you're not drained. I'm not drained. They just get monotonous. Don't misunderstand about the card pulls. It's cool. They just get monotonous. I like to have a variety of like questions and card pulls. They just were all mostly card pulls today. So that's what I was saying. But yeah, definitely taken for Andrea. It's so funny. I like variety. That's all I meant. I just need variety. Okay. Andrea, this is for you, and this is going to be pretty direct. They're saying, stop with the spiritual crap. And they're joking because you might be going too hardcore and like trying to be spiritual that you already are spiritual. You know, they would take a step back. Like, you know, look at your physical desires, Andrea. Like, what do you want physically? Like, let's start attending to your physical desires because there's a very spiritual experience to the expression of sexuality. There's a very spiritual experience to expression of any physical modality. And so just express yourself is what spirituality is. And we have physicality to bring out, you know, the spiritual expressions. Are we lagging? Let me see. Are we good, Nina? Let me make sure before I go on with it, Andrea. Oh no, here's this fucking lag again. Are we good? Is it lagging? Okay. Yeah, well, hang tight. We're gonna, you know, we'll get back to Andrea. Just waiting for the lag to clear. I don't know it. It just comes up at random places. Let me make sure there's nothing. No. Is it better when you leave and come back? See here. Okay. So I think it's okay on my end. I have mail. Site. I want you all to come back because it's. I want to make sure. I don't know why it's doing that. It's good. Okay, it's good now. Okay, so back to Andrea. Like we're saying, my mom said it's good. Thank you. Good. Perfect. So need to refresh. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I take things off of my other things off my Wi-Fi. Make sure it's not doing the thing. Okay, so like I was saying, Andrea, get out of this like overly trying to be spiritual. Focus on your physical desires, right? Focus on, you know, exactly what you want in the physical realm because that's a spiritual expression. And you take a chill pill. You might be pushing too much, Andrea, right? Might be, pushing too much to be spiritual minded, and because part of being happy is the physical expressions in your life. Part of being happy is understanding, like, hey, I want to eat that. I love to eat this food that I make, or I love to, go out and have that walk, or I love to like enjoy and play that video game, or watch that movie, or read that book, or have that spiritual expression. So that's awesome. So don't forget about your physical expressions. They're saying you don't have to be a spiritually, philosophically minded person all the time, because again, being spiritual is being, I always say, in physical reality. And so allow yourself to just embrace that, they're saying, and then you'll find more movement too. Because I think you're saying, oh, I'm not spiritually minded enough, or I'm not being too spiritually grounded enough. It's like you're spirit already. You are spirit. Embrace that and express it, and you're good. You don't have to be living in the clouds. You don't have to be living in a meditation all the time. Okay. Hope that makes sense, and I hope if you came out, you're back in again. Okay, Melissa Booth. What I'm missing when it comes to my job search, I've taken a part-time job for something and get my moment to become, but I still feeling so lost. Well, Melissa, what are you doing? Thank you for the question, actually. What are you missing? I mean, this is simple. Like, it's one of those simple things I can call out. I'm just sitting on it and make sure. Because sometimes my reads come so easy. I'm like, am I processing right? I just feel like you don't have direction in what you're wanting. you know, look, I think you need to be an environment to where I don't know why they keep putting you in like a beauty environment, you know. And not that this is long term. You might temporarily need to be in an environment where, you know, either it's a hair salon or you're learning how to do some sort of like, you know, makeup, or I always say in these situations, like learning how to do microblading is the example I use in situations. You need to do something that makes people feel good that you can learn, because you can learn microblading in like a couple of weeks and get yourself started and make great money about that. It's always an example I use in these situations. You're just not doing anything that's really representative of you. You're just doing a job. You're not like in the right environment, you know? And it's like you're just trying to lead yourself in a direction that says you're making people feel better. People are feeling better. If you think you go to a hair salon, they feel better once they get their hair did, right? You might need to just be in an environment like that so you feel better, so then you can actually start realizing, hey, I'm going to go in this direction, right? And start creating a newer direction for yourself. So you should be working like even cosmetology, something of that nature. I feel like it should be a direction you should start in, you know. And I think you'll find beautifying things. I'll even say it this way, Melissa, even a way of beautifying things somehow, you know, because the connective making things better and making people feel better in a sense is kind of the essence they want you to be in right now. The environments that you're in are too mechanical. There's no meaning behind it. And no wonder why you feel lost in it. There's no meaning. It's just like, oh, I'm just like a no-brainer, just kind of, you know, job, but they're just doing this. So I would start considering like any type of things you can learn to be in the beauty space temporarily to get yourself going in that momentum, right? Like I said, learning how to do microblade or do something of that nature, or makeup or something of that nature. I would definitely, yeah. I do mention that a lot, AC. I'd say it's always my example. It's always my example. And the reason I use that as an example for people who either get started in the beauty space or want to get started in that space is because it's so easy to learn and to start doing right away. So that's why I use that as an example. Because I feel like when people think beauty space, they don't have experience in that, they just think, oh, I can't do that, or I don't know how to do hair. It's like, but there's things that you can learn quickly and do to start that momentum going. So, at this point, you're going to say no to everything and pick the thing that's most convenient for you, Melissa. And so you're always going to feel stuck unless you step outside of the box. And the point of this read is to get you to step outside the box, which mentally. That's what I'm saying. Beautifying things. Find a way to do it. You know, and not everything needs a degree. Melissa, not everything needs a degree. So, you know, you can definitely, in a sense, you know, you start doing, I always say this example, like microblading is always my example. That's what AC remembers, right? And the reason why it's not a memorable example, AC, because, you know, I know a friend that just started that, who started doing that. He was making like $600 a pop, you know, and he was doing well. He learned it quickly and it was great. Like, and so yeah, it's always a suggestion I always like to make. And so like I was saying, beautifying things, you should definitely, you know, even if it's like interior designer spaces, you don't have to necessarily get a degree. If you're good at that, start doing things from scratch, redoing your own home, and take pictures of what you've redone, and redo a room for your friend, and let them take pictures and so forth. You can develop a portfolio to show what you can do. I mean, talent doesn't need a degree if you already have the talent, right? So many people who are talented, then it's not like saying, oh, it's a beautiful piece of art, but do you have a degree? Because if you don't have a degree, I'm not buying it. No one says shit like that. So if you're good at what you do in that sense, you don't need a degree. Just practice it. Get in the modality. Create, you know, photographs of what you're doing and so forth. But so for me, I feel like getting in the beauty space somehow in that way will get you going. And then, like, again, I was kind of seeing the spaces after that in a sense. Aha! Well, look at that. She's an esthetician. So slap me silly and call me psychic. I mean, talk about calling it out. Well, that's the thing. So maybe just have to find a way to redo it and be creative with it, my love. You know what I mean? So, and find ways to express that passion, you know, in a different modality, and don't let parameters get you stuck. So there you go. Okay, we have a few more. Let me close this down here. Okay. It's cleaner now. Oh, but I want the chats back up. Hold on a second. I just want to get rid of that. There we go. Okay. Yes, you do, my love. Okay, because that space is like we said before, is a space you should be in. You know, it's what makes you happy. You stop being mechanical, where you settle on a job. You know what I mean? So, okay. Or at least be mechanical in your favor, right? You can't stop at characteristics. So if being mechanical, then it's to be mechanical in ways that you can structure your way of finding how to set up your space, right? So, like I always say, like I'm Aquarius Virgo rising. I overthink everything. I can't stop that trait, but I can also overthink in the sense in my favor to get things going, right? So I make sure I'm conscious of how I'm overthinking, you know. Yeah, she could build her own salon, but that would be later on, you know. It's too much of a leap right now, Daryl. But that's definitely a goal to get toward, right? For her. And so you don't necessarily need a spot either, Melissa. You know, I know people go mobile. You know, my friend did mobile brows. Isn't that funny? So yeah. Okay. This is for cards by Gabby. Mobile brows. How about that, right? I have to say, you guys can see that the direct questions are actually more on point than card pulls too, because card pulls are just random. But a question is more on point. You guys can see in specific. But I'll be specific. Air gymnastics, huh? Interesting. That's cool. What? Well, I told you more than that, my love. I told you about being a therapist, counselor, helping people, all that sort of stuff. Okay, this is for card by Gabby. Okay, this is interesting. Do you do my brows? No, someone else did my brows. Actually, he did my brows first, but someone else did them. But I didn't want much done in them. I just need like filling in places. But my brows pretty much always look like that. I didn't want like thick brows. This one, can you just fill in where it was a little thin? So I just filled in. Well, it was a little thin in places, but my brows always looked like this. But you get older, they get a little thin in places. So just come fill them in. I know people that do it. They get these big, thick brows. I'm like, no, I want the same brows, just consistent, you know. Okay, so this is for Gabby. Okay, they're saying you got to toss out the old ways you've been doing your work and your business. Like it's outdated. Time to refocus and come from your own point of view, right? And do things that are out of the box when it comes to how you're structuring your work and your business. Basically saying it's time for an upgrade. Abby, all right, it's time for an upgrade. It's time to start doing things differently and time for an upgrade. So, you know, the Fool in Reverse card to me is actually something very different, right? We all can interpret things differently. For me, because it's always new beginnings, and to me, it's like you're going through ways in an old modality, right? And when the Hermit card comes after, for me, my position as psychically reading that, I'm saying, well, it's time to like really develop your own style, your own way of doing things, not the way you were taught, not the way people traditionally do things, but the way you do things, right? And so the Death in Reverse to me is saying like you're putting it aside, but then they were saying it means both aspects, death, upright, and disright. It means you're breaking down the old ways you doing stuff and starting to and transforming your work into your own unique expression. Okay? So the Lover's card and the Three of Cups coming out to me as well is not so much about love relationships in this context. It's more about saying like, you know, really putting your love back into the work that you do and understand this is part of your love as well. And then Three of Cups is kind of celebrating that. You should be enjoying this now. So that's what they're saying when it comes to like getting out of this old way of doing your work and maybe the old traditional ways, find your own unique way of expressing and doing it. And that transformation, rebirth, and then you're going to find the love back to what you're doing again, and it's going to expand. And with the Three of Cups in the final position, that's where the celebration of being excited again about what you're doing because it's new, it's upgraded, you know. So, yeah, you know what? It looks great, Daryl, because you can't tell. That's why. And so when I got it done, no one knew that I got it done, you know. So Yeah, no one knew that I got it done because I'm like, I want my same brows. Don't do anything different. Just make it look like they're just, even, consistent. Because it was going a little thinner, I think, on the edge here, like a little bit, a little thin. My Virgo was driving me nuts and stuff. So, okay, Sarah says, got a lot of moving pieces, few bumps, trying to get real estate deals done, feeling sensitive and kind of alone and sensitive about being away from my man. What do I need to learn most right now? They're saying, right, Sarah, the thing to be most focused on right now is neutrality. Not everything has to be go and then play, right? Work, play, work, play. Sometimes it's just a coasting area and zone in the trajectory. And sometimes there is a fact that you just kind of just need to be in the suspension, right? The suspended energy, and understanding what the suspended energy is. And it doesn't have to be the extreme pull, extreme that, and so forth. And I think the alone time is... we can be very psychological like this, like too. The alone time is really you saying to yourself about this change. I think you're doing this change alone, the change alone. And so it's not so much about surrender, rest, or allow, because I think that you've been doing that. It's more about just being present with it, love. Just being present with it. Yeah, I'm kind of alone right now, but like, what am I filling my time with? And what do I need to be focused on? It's just being present with it, my love. Very simple, and so there's nothing to surrender to. You've been doing that, and you rest, you chill. I just think it really is you feeling an anxiety about change right now. And things feeling suspended with the man energy, and so, but there's really nothing different about things kind of being in flux either before. But it's just a change and uncertainty that's driving you nuts. So it's okay. You can be uncertain for a little bit. Let it just chill for a moment. You don't have to be here productive and just now focusing on intentionally resting. So make sure you understand that. Make sure you're just being present with it. That's because, again, it's just unsettling the fact that you're, should I stay or should I go now? Like, should I go left or right type of thing, right? And so I think that, it's okay to be in the middle for a minute. That's all. Be in the middle. It's all right. It's okay. I'm here. Like, I'm alone. Or I always say the key to everything is embracing the energy. So if you're being alone, embrace being alone right now. Sit in the aloneness. Instead of fighting it, people always tend to fight it like something's wrong. It's like, maybe alone time is actually what you need right now, especially to get a good grasp on the change, right? And, because, there's that uprooting energy and uncertainty, which really is uncertain. You're just in process. So yeah, just stay present with that, So, and again, Two of Swords is kind of just like being in between, also not just stalemate energy. Two of Swords also means like kind of I'm being in between. I'm kind of like it's split energy too. That's why this kind of looks even split, even holding the sword. So it's kind of like you're keeping yourself split. You don't need to. Just be in the middle. You don't have to pick left or right now. That will ease up on a lot for you, And know that you've always been on the right track, and you've always been, doing things accordingly, and things have been shifting and changing magnificently for you. And keep that sustainability, and understand if there's a lone period right now and anxiousness, well, the anxious to me is a rendering manifestation that you're probably not embracing the loneliness. But when you're embracing the loneliness, say, oh, this is a reason for this loneliness, then you'll understand the anxiety will go away, and then you'll be clear about the change about the properties and the move and all that stuff. Because you need a little bit of an exhale. Intellectually, you need an exhale, and that's what this is for. It's like, and like what I said, a lot of you guys are also, or a lot of you lovelies. Maybe I shouldn't say guys. A lot of you guys are need to understand there is always a rest or calm before the storm. Before things start moving, there always is a little bit of downtime, a little bit of clear air, so you can check in with yourself and say, is this what I want to do? Or is this where I want to go? So understand these times of pause or suspension is giving you time to navigate. Because you can't just go all the time. And so this we can navigate during the change. You're like, okay. And, so I would say these pauses are like really in our favor. We don't want to keep going 24/7 all the time, and you're the first hit 43. I know I'm coming next year in 43. I'll meet you there soon, Sarah. Okay. And happy, awesome, beloved birthday to you. And that could also be playing a lot of the anxiety, but it's more the conditions on that's doing it for me. But you'll get this. Embrace the present of that. And I don't mean to sound cliche, but it's true. And you know what I mean when I say that. Okay, Patricia Bone Cutter. You guys are still talking about brows? If you look at my old pictures of me, I had the same brows. Remember, my brows are not different, so he didn't give me any brows. He just cleaned mine up a little bit. Okay. Embrace the exactly. ETB. 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 Embrace the brows. Yeah, I told do not put any lines where I don't have hair. I told them if I don't have hair there, don't put lines there. I told them do not do any lines where I don't have hair. I do too, but on me, I think it looks silly if I had big brows. I have a very I have a very my forehead or my I have a very heavy brow anyway, so I'd look stupid with bigger brows. Patricia Bone Cutter. I love big brows and I can't lie, right? Emotional message. Why are these all reversed though? I'm gonna reread that part. This just doesn't seem right to me. Someone else's energy cut into my read. I don't like that. We put that there. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah, my love, this is going to be emotional read, Mrs. Patricia Bonecutter. Okay. Brows on fleek. So, 10 of Wands is my, and especially an emotional read that's laid out like this, is definitely telling me that you need to stop carrying so much emotionally. It's more about, to me, feels like emotional responsibility you got to let go of and get rid of, right? Because I feel like other people are slowing you down, right? So this is you see the Knight of Swords. Okay. And with the Knight of Swords, that's kind of like, the reverse. The Knight of Swords and upright is like fast movement, like good movement. There's a mission. You're letting other people and other people's problems get in your way of your own mission. That's slowing you down. It's not letting you look at what you want. It's not allowing you to focus on your happiness. So, in this emotional read, they're saying, please be more conscious of what you're carrying. Please be more conscious of what you're trying to decipher and who is attached to your decision-making processes. You know what I mean? Because I think that's when happiness will come. I also feel some sort of inheritance or money's coming too, because this is a second part of the read. So like the 10 of Pentacles to me is about inheritance, investments, coming through, or you making monies on investments or unexpected money. So I feel like that will also be a contribution to this as well. And I'd say once you do kind of spoil yourself a little bit too, give yourself a little bit of pampering when you do get this extra money coming in, like treat yourself well with that, do something to splurge. And it is time to move forward. So the 4 of Wands came out a lot tonight, and it's really kind of like getting out of hibernation, kind of coming out of a rejuvenated period. So it is time for you to start like focusing on your endeavors and not the endeavors of another, and allowing yourself to be over encumbered by other people's crap and emotions and responsibilities of everybody else's decisions. It's time to let go of that. And if you haven't started to, the knife is going to change. But this inheritance money or this unexpected money comes through, they're saying to use that in a way to pamper yourself. Not all of it, don't go crazy, but to use to pamper yourself. Make that a pact for yourself that you will pamper yourself on that. Okay. And maybe even plan a trip or something, or maybe I do feel a trip will be coming, or some sort of travel or trip is coming too. So that could also be that you get the finances for this trip that comes about. Okay. And so it's time for that pampering. Actually, we have one more, which is Lisa. Make sure I went through everybody too and didn't miss anybody here. We've done Tara, Sophia, Beth, Andrea, Andy, Melissa, Angel, Sarah. Yeah, we've done. Okay, Lisa's last. All right, Lisa. Yeah, well, you'll be getting out of that. They're saying you rested. It's time. You'll be getting out and moving forward. So it might be a vacation or trip that you take. Be good. Sophie, great to see you. Thank you for stopping by and hanging around with us tonight. Your energy is a valuable contribution to the community here, so we love you. We hope you have a wonderful night. And let that person go who's needs to go, okay? You'll be doing better without that individual. Okay. Okay, good. You need to chillax. So here's again the Four of Swords in the upright. How many times the Four of Swords come out tonight, guys? Quite a bit. Some need to rest, some need to stop, get out of relaxation and rest. So it's funny, and I've said that in the collective read too. Some need to chill out and rest and recuperate, and some need to come out of hibernation. So you need to go into hibernation now, Lisa. Okay, and so it's time for you to kind of like get back into a Zen modality. Okay, and the Tower card is a change for me. So change is not bad because the Tower is not bad in this case because I feel like it's a big change, like an uprooting, a move, right? And so it's an indication of like you're really kind of changing a lot of the essence and elements that you were used to, and it's changing, but that's a good thing. That this is the Three of Wands, that like new beginnings, new journey, like looking above the horizon and beyond the horizon. But I'm also reading psychically in this, like, three's not a party. So there might be a third interference with you and your relationship in this move that might become a nuisance, and you might like tell the person to go bug off, or they might try to cause conflict. It could be a relative, a mother energy. And might want to try to cause complications with this change or the new home or whatnot. Tell them to bug off. Okay? They might start trying to, because you're distant and you're far away. And here's again the Three of Cups in reverse, right? So we got the Three of Wands, which is positive for you, right? About looking ahead, but they're also telling me that like three's not a party, like that third party, like not interfere. And the same thing with the Three of Cups coming about. They're saying it means both ways. Like you're going to celebrate this change, but get that third party out of the picture. Whoever's going to be picking their nose into this change. And it's all about, acquiring the strength at this point now and being strength. But also this is my Leo card for being loyal. And, allowing yourself to be loyal.
He doesn't look like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You like to summon your end table that this too.
Hey, go ahead. You're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that make
always
sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with